Alright, so in today's video I'm going to be going over what talents you should level up for every single class in the game. Let's go. Okay, so first things first, we have the Attackers class. Now, this class I think is pretty self-explanatory with what talents you should level up, as I think pretty much just anything that will increase your damage output, because, you know, that's their role, that's their job, that's what you want to do. So, you know, for example, my Red Yami here, you know, I've just been leveling up literally every single talent apart from his combined attack, because realistically, I mean, I'll get onto this later on, but I don't think combined attacks are very useful inside the game outside of united attacks, but I will get into that in a later bit. But yeah, honestly, yeah, like I was saying before, all you really want is just something that can increase your damage, you know, your attack power, your magic attack power, all of that, because realistically that's what you want from your damage dealers, and I think that's all you're really ever going to get from them is just more and more damage from their skills and whatnot. So yeah, I would say for me, you know, attackers, you know, you just want to level up everything but their combined attack, and you could level up their united attack if you wanted to, if you know you're wanting to use it quite often. Whereas, I mean, for me personally, I'm not, because, you know, Jack is, you know, he's good, but he's just not as good as, you know, some other pairings are for Yami. So yeah, overall for attackers, yeah, I'd say level up everything but your combined attack, because realistically you just want to do as much damage as possible, and most of the time you're going to be using your ults way more than combined attacks, as you know, because they are just generally way better. But you know, there could be some scenarios where you could, you know, use your combined attack, but I think those are way too neat for you to ever, you know, want to use it. Okay, so on to debuffers next. Now, obviously debuffers' jobs, their job is to just, you know, apply debuffs to harm the enemies. So all you ever want to do is just increase the chance of those debuffs happening. So for example, on Lotus here we have his ult, and if we quickly translate it, you'll be able to see that on his ult, you know, he's got a bit of a mix and match on the enhancing effect, where, you know, he can increase the damage of his ult, but he can also increase the activation rate of, you know, his removing buff effect, which is really good. So, you know, things like, you know, whatever can help increase the chance of something happening is going to be the main thing that you're going to look at doing. Whereas again, on, you know, Lotus's second skill, for example, these things that he applies on his second skill are guaranteed, you know, effects that he applies, meaning that, you know, on his enhancement effect he's only getting bonus damage, which again, you will want to upgrade this eventually once you've upgraded all your other talents to 5, but once, you know, this is going to be like one of the last things you ever want to do, as, you know, because you want to just, you want him to debuff it, and that's pretty much it for now, and then you can let your attackers do all the DPS and, you know, all the damage. So yeah, things like his skill 2, you know, again, because it's guaranteed value, you know, you don't need to upgrade it just yet, and you only really need to focus on things like his skill 1 and his special moves, as, you know, they have, you know, increased activation rates. Although Lotus is, you know, a little bit unique, as, you know, it's only on his level 5, you know, meaning it's going to be pretty expensive for you to get, but if you only wanted to level up his ult for now, then that's completely fine. But I would still say give this a look to upgrading, you know, stuff like this, because, you know, it's going to be worth it in the future. So on to the defenders. Now, the defenders are going to be pretty similar when it comes to, you know, the debuffers as well. They're going to be pretty similar. Don't know why Arceus love to. I can't remember if that was part of the tutorial or whatnot. But with defenders, like for example, Asta and, you know, a lot of other, you know, characters like Mars and whatever will like to taunt. So all you know, again, just like the debuffers, all you're going to want to do is level up whatever is going to increase the debuffs that you apply, or, you know, just anything that's going to help, you know, help support your team. So again, for example, Asta's ult, not giving up his my magic, he can increase his taunt activation rate up to 20% when he gets to level 4, meaning he goes from 40% to a 60% chance. And I mean, let's be honest, that's a pretty big jump. That's, like, you know, that's going to make that skill, you know, a lot more valuable and a lot more consistent, and allowing you to taunt way more often. And then again, you know, like you know, other characters or whatever, Asta's second skill also has, you know, a increase of up to 20% chance to remove buffs, which is which you can then increase, or, oh no, sorry, 30% chance, which can then go up to 50% with a 20% increase. Sorry, my bad. So yeah, again, just like debuffers, all you really want to do is just basically increase the chance of something happening, because also, you know, it's based off a bit of RNG. You can increase, you know, your effect hit rate, or your accuracy as it's called, which, you know, can be useful, but, you know, for characters like defenders, when you really just want to make them as tanky as possible, upgrading skills like these, you know, to give you that extra chance of, you know, know, of taunting, stunning, whatever, decreasing their defenses, attack, whatever. You know, you really want to make sure that you can get that as consistent as possible, so upgrade those first. So we now move on to supporters. Now, supporters are probably one of, if not the best roles in the entire game, or class, whatever you want to call it, as realistically, the buffs that a lot of these characters apply, like Vengeance, Finral, Sally, etc., Valtos, if you want to include him in there, they are all very good. Now, for example, you know, we've got Vengeance's ult. You know, again, this is going to be a little bit different to like Debuffers or whatever, because realistically, Vengeance's ult only, when you level it up, only does increase damage, meaning you don't really care about that, because realistically, his job is to support your team. So, for example, I've only been leveling up Vengeance's skill 2, as all it, you know, because it increases the chance of my increasing my allies' action power when they're below 50% or whatever, and it also, you know, does a lot of other things like increasing the amounts that their action power is increased by as well. So yeah, I guess to summarize it all, I guess with supporters, you just want to do anything and everything that would increase the strength of a buff, increase the chance of a buff happening, or, you know, etc. Because realistically, that's their job, that's what they're here to do. Whereas, you know, if you start leveling up things like his skill 1, where realistically it only increases damage, which, I mean, will be useful eventually, you will want to do this eventually, but as a priority, you really only want to do, you know, skills that, you know, increase the chance of buffs occurring, or increase the strengths of their buff. Then I guess that finally brings us on to healers. Now, healers are, again, probably very similar to attackers, where, you know, with attackers you only want to increase their damage, whereas I feel like with healers you just want to level up anything and everything that can, you know, increase their healing amount, which is literally everything. For example, on Mimosa here, you literally will, all of her things will just increase her healing and whatnot, so you just want to level up all of those. It's pretty simple, it's just very similar to how attackers work and whatnot. But I mean, for example, again on Mimosa, she also applies quite a lot of buffs, so if there's ever, you know, a healer that will, you know, when you level up their skills, will be able to increase the strength of a buff, the increased chance of a buff occurring, then you'd also want to, you know, increase the chance and, you know, the strength of those as well. So this then brings us on to combined and united attacks. Now, I feel like there's only a very select few of characters where you want to actually level up their combined attacks. For example, I think Mars is, you know, a pretty good one to level up his combined attack for, because realistically his ult is pretty bad, so you just might much rather use his combined attack and try and get an ultimate off. I don't know exactly what his upgraded combined attack does, but if it does more damage, then you're going to want to go for it. But yeah, then when it comes to united attacks, honestly, I guess honestly, it's all up to you, because it depends on how much you want to use them or how much you are currently using them. For example, if you're using Yuno and Asta as a pairing, then, you know, you're probably going to want to level up their united attack, because let's be honest, it is pretty good, and, you know, the more damage you can do with it, the more value you can get out of it. So for example, you know, something that you might want to upgrade as a combined attack, you know, is characters that are either from the support class or the healer class. As, you know, for example, on Mimosa here, she has a 50% chance of giving 1 special point to your partner, which you can then increase up to 80%, and then you can also increase it to an extra 1 special point, which, you know, could be actually very useful and could be very good. But yeah, I'd honestly just say maybe just those roles, because, like, you know, with supporters and healers, you can give your characters, you know, attack power increase, magic attack power increase, etc., crit chance increase, defense penetration, etc. But yeah, and then apart from those roles, I probably would just say stay away from, you know, combined attacks, and then again, united attacks, if you really like their united attack. It's just all down to you. So yeah, that is it for today's video. Let me know your thoughts about it in the comments below, whether you think I'm right, wrong, etc. I'm open to all criticism. Yeah, so I think overall, I think, you know, for a lot of things, I think it's pretty obvious, it's pretty self-explanatory, but just a bit of a thing just to show you what, you know, what priorities you should take, you know, with every, you know, class, role, etc. So yeah, that's been it. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you in the next video. Peace.